What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jude coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, rise up. Today, this video is just going to talk about why I feel that it's time to go ahead and pay Julio Jones and give him that new contract that he's earned. Just to start off with, as Julio Jones entered the league, or since he's entered the league, he has done nothing less than ball for us, y'all. We know he took the NFL by storm coming in. At the time, we had Roddy White on the team, which was our #1 receiver, and Julio Jones fell right into place and took over that position, like within his second or third year in the league. I just feel like being that Michael Thomas has already got his new contract and set the new bar for what wide receivers should be making, it's time to go ahead and give Julio Jones that new deal. We already know that Arthur Blank promised him a new contract last year. As he was going into, or before last year, he promised him a new contract, stating that he would be a Falcon for life. And they went ahead and gave him that $2 million, I believe, bonus entering last year. And they promised at the end of the year that they would go ahead and renew him or give him a contract extension. So I feel like it's time to go ahead and get Julio Jones paid. This man is a great leader. I feel like he's the best player on the Atlanta Falcons right now. No disrespect to Matt Ryan, but I feel like we went ahead, we took care of our players. I believe that the Falcons are one of the best franchises in the NFL. Arthur Blank is one of the best owners in the NFL. He went ahead and took care of all of the players pretty much, or most of our impact players. He went ahead and took care of them. We got Grady Jarrett signed already under contract. We got Deion Jones under contract. So it's time to go ahead and get Julio Jones done. I know he does have 2 years left on his deal, but being that the Arthur Blank already promised him a new contract, and being that he balled last year as always, I believe he led the NFL in receiving yards last year. So it's time to go ahead and get Julio Jones paid, y'all. I heard that his agent is going to be in Atlanta this week trying to get the deal done. So I feel like by the end of this week, I plan on hearing that the deal is done. I don't want this to drag into the season, and we're less than about 3 weeks away from kickoff as far as the season, where we got to go to Minnesota. So I just don't want it to linger into the actual season. We already know that Julio Jones is not somebody that's going to go to the media about his contract or talk about his contract, and that's one thing that I feel like is leverage on his side, that he handles his business on and off the field. Julio Jones has never gotten into any trouble, knock on wood. And I don't see a reason why we shouldn't pay him. I don't believe that Julio Jones is a replaceable player, even though I don't believe that if he didn't get a contract before the new year, I don't believe that he would sit out. I still believe that it's time for us to go ahead and pay him because he's earned it. I believe right now he's not even in the top 5 or top 10 and getting paid for as wide receivers. I know he's not in the top 5, and that's just because the market has got reset. So I feel like it's time for us to go ahead and get the deal done. We all know that Julio Jones is a dog. He's a great leader in the locker room. He's a great mentor to his teammates. He leads by example. He doesn't say much. He just goes out and proves it every year on the field. So I feel like it's time to go ahead and get Julio Jones paid. He hasn't had any major injuries since that 1 year he was out for like half the year, and when I think he like broke his leg or something like that, and that was like years ago. But ever since he had that injury, he's been healthy. I believe Julio Jones is like 30 years old, so he's still in his prime. I don't see why we can't go ahead and give him like a 4 to 5 year deal, and it should be north of $100 million or somewhere in that $100 million range, because that's what Michael Thomas with the Saints got. So it's time to go ahead and get this deal done. I believe the Falcons will get this deal done. I believe in Thomas Dimitroff, and I believe in Arthur Blank. They've paid all the other players that was due to get paid, and I feel like Julio Jones has balled out, and it's time for us to go ahead and take care of him. Other than that, I'm not going to be up here too long. I just wanted to talk about Julio. I do believe with Julio, he's not a replaceable player, and I do believe as Atlanta Falcons fans, we've kind of got spoiled because there's so many other diva wide receivers out here that's causing so much trouble on their teams, and they still getting paid. Look at Antonio Brown. He just got paid. I don't like to talk about other players' money and things of that nature, but I do want to talk about the comparison between Julio Jones and Odell Beckham and Antonio Brown. And basically, that's how I do my tiering when it comes to like who's the best wide receiver in the league. To me, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham Jr., they're all right there. The dude Hopkins from the Houston Texans. I feel like DeAndre Hopkins, I believe all of them are like right there for the best receiver. But I believe what makes you the best receiver is the all around. Like Julio Jones goes about 6'3", 6'4", runs excellent routes, has that acceleration and has that speed, has that stop and go speed. So I feel like it's definitely time to go ahead and get him paid. So that's why I feel like he's the best in the league. Plus, not only is he a great player on the actual field, but off the field and in the locker room, he's a great teammate. He doesn't cause any trouble in the media. He doesn't cause any trouble. Like, look at his contract situation right now. He could be complaining, holding out a camp, but no, he's been there, coming to camp. He said he's not going to sit out. So I feel like it's time to go ahead and get this guy paid. He does deserve this new contract. I don't feel like anyone with the Falcons or any of our fans doesn't feel like he deserves a contract. But I do think at sometimes the media and the NFL takes Julio Jones for granted just because he's so quiet off the field and he's just quiet natured. Personally, he's just quiet natured. That's just the type of person that he is. But I feel like it's time to go ahead and get him paid. He should set the new market and definitely get north of what Michael Thomas got. Whatever Michael Thomas got, I know he got $100 million, but I don't remember exactly how much he got guaranteed money. I believe it was around 70 million. So Julio should definitely get like 80 million, 90 million plus, and his contract should be over 100 million. But I feel like it doesn't. I'm not really even looking at the number for 100 million. I'm just looking at whatever his guaranteed money is, because that's the money that he's guaranteed to get. So he should definitely be making the most guaranteed money and also making the most money per year as far as receiver. It's time to go ahead and get it done. Like I said before, I don't want this dragging into the regular season. I want us to all be going in locked and loaded, all of the players paid, so we can just focus on football. Even if he's not paid, I know Julio Jones is going to come ball out like he always does, but I just feel like it's time to go ahead and pay him. He's the best player on our team, and I feel like the best player on the team should always get special treatment because he's a special player. It's just like with the Cowboys. I don't like to talk about other teams necessarily, but if you look at the Cowboys, they need to go. Personally, I feel like they need to go ahead and pay Ezekiel Elliott that's holding out, just for the mere fact that certain players are not replaceable. Julio Jones to me is not a replaceable player. Ezekiel Elliott is not a replaceable player. Like, some players are just special, and they're really special and have that it factor. Like, it's something like they're not like the usual or the average. They're just like a generational talent or a generational player. Julio Jones is definitely one of those players. I feel like Ezekiel Elliott in the running back position is one of those players where he's like the top 1, 2, 3 running back in the game right now. And I feel like the way that you judge by if you should pay them or if you shouldn't pay them is, if we didn't have him, could we still produce the numbers, or will we still draw the same coverages without them? And I feel like you can't. If you were to take Julio Jones off this Falcons team and make Calvin Ridley the number 1 and make Sanu the number 2 and make whoever, Justin Hardy, the number 3, or teams wouldn't guard us or defend us. They wouldn't scheme the same way, because Calvin Ridley, he's a great player. No disrespect to Calvin Ridley. He's still young in his career, but he's not the same level player or skill player that Julio Jones is. Julio Jones draws double team every time. You basically have to keep your safety over the top at all times, because Julio Jones, you just don't want to leave a cornerback out there. He's too talented to leave on one-on-one coverage at any point in the time. I don't care what position you are on the field. You always have to double Julio. You always have to know what Julio Jones is. It's the same thing with Ezekiel Elliott. He's just a special type of running back where defenses have to load the box when they're playing the Cowboys when Ezekiel Elliott is back there. No disrespect to Tony Pollard, their backup, who's playing right now, but certain players just are special. And for special players, they deserve special treatment and they deserve to be paid. So I just hope that we go ahead and get this done. I don't see a reason why it won't get done, but leave your comments below if you feel like, tell me what you think. If you think Julio deserves the money, if you think he should make, leave in the comments about how much you think he should be paid. As long as he's the highest paid player, as far as guaranteed dollars, I'm good with that. And as long as he's making the most per year at wide receiver, I'm good with that as well. I know sometimes when you pay a player like a lot of money, or like you let them set the market, it affects like your defense and it affects your O-line. It affects all of the other categories of being able to pay other people. But I just feel like Julio Jones is one of those players, just like Matt Ryan. You have to pay your best players. And I feel like Julio Jones is one of the best players, if not the best player on the Atlanta Falcons right now. He is one of the leaders. Him and Matt Ryan are like the leaders of the locker room. So you definitely got to go ahead and show them, that this guy has earned it. He's done it the right way. So it's time to pay him. Antonio Brown got paid. I don't agree with everything that Antonio Brown does off the field. But at the same time, he still got his money, whether he complained about it. He got traded just like he wanted. So I feel like when you're a good guy, you do things the right way, you should be rewarded. So I feel like it's time for the Atlanta Falcons to go ahead and reward Julio Jones because he's definitely earned this money. That's about all that I have for this video, y'all. As always, rise up. This is your boy Jew. Like, share, subscribe to the page. Tell your Falcons friends about the page. Football fans, come to the page. And I'm out. God bless as always. Y'all have a great day. Peace.